Yes, and I'm Robert C. Dupree again, and as I stated earlier in my previous videos and things here concerning the discrimination of this young man who was discriminated against and wrongfully terminated because of his relief girlfriend had made statements and things that weren't true and so forth, and a thing that really stood out is the fact where management had told the young man that this company here, General Mills, down here in the North Bottom in the Kansas City area, how that it was known for its dark ages. And even I, as Robert C. Dupree, is still in a legal battle continuously right now here in 2014 concerning issues that stated and that had went far back to these dark ages, as a young man has been informed about, even though the management didn't go into a lot of the specific, but he found out when he had talked to some of the his co-workers, who have been there over 20 years or better concerning these issues. And I just wanted to bring out that still in this continuous ongoing battle, and how that the dark ages, as was brought to this young man's attention, how that there was even such discrimination that was going on, that there was a young lady who's white, or Caucasian rather. She even testified on my behalf with a sworn affidavit. And earlier she used to mention, and you can see her testimony, or rather hear her testimony, if you go to my part down here to part 18, of my list of videos and things, with her full consent and everything concerning her issues, how she was discriminated against. And basically she was discriminated against because, as a white lady, or a Caucasian rather, she had testified against General Mills' practice of racism and allowing certain racist practice to go on, meaning she's seen a lot of the treatment how blacks have been treated down here in a time when she was working down up over here. And this was part of the time years ago when I used to work down here, because she was one of my main witness who testified with a sworn affidavit that I was discriminated against because of my race, obviously black. And she had clearly told the supervisors and the union and all of them that if this case ever go to arbitration, especially if she found out I was terminated, that she was definitely going to bring the facts out of her own experience, as well as what she had witnessed and seen concerning how a lot of the racist stuff is going on, and blacks have been treated with certain particular employees. Now we got to keep in mind, we're talking about years ago, and some of them employees is not down there, and some of them still are down there. So anyway, I want to bring to the point of how the General Mills and my former attorney had come up with this so-called settlement fraud, this so-called settlement, which was a fraud and a deception. How did they come about with this here? This young lady here, who had testified on my behalf strongly against the company, General Mills, here in the Kansas City area, down here in the North Bottom years ago. She came with a sworn affidavit. This was back in April 4th of 2000. Okay? And she had testified strongly on the behalf of the practice of what was going on down here, and what she had witnessed certain things, and she was, one time she was very concerned about her situation, because she at one time was married to an African American man, so she knows about a lot of the prejudice and racial discrimination and things that she's seen goes on. And she, matter of fact, at one time she was very concerned about even ever letting anyone down here at the company know that she was married to an African American man, because at the time she weren't in the union, and she was just concerned about that. And well so, because once they found out, certain particular racist employees came to her face, I mean this straight out, literally, and they start calling her nigger lover, several times. This one particular, especially this one particular racist employee, is not the one that's involved with the hang noose issue, because there was others. Came several times and called her nigger lover, and then when she reported this here to the management, the office around up here, during the time of some of these people I'm talking about right now, they not down there, but still a lot of the practice behind the scenes, they're using it in another different method. But to get to my point, the management, even told her that, hey, you just have to toughen up because that just comes along with part of the territory. And you hear some of that in her statements and things that she had mentioned concerning, the sworn affidavits and things around here about some of the prejudice and stuff that how that blacks have been treated and how that whites will do things. And matter of fact, even herself concerning the rule stance, which General Mills alleged that they fired me for, which was unfounded and untrue. And my point about the settlement part, come to find out that when this case here is supposed to have been settling out of court with a so-called good faith agreement, come to find out that General Mills had provided my former attorney with documents that's concerning this young lady's yearly wage. And before they had fired me, because I used to be a utility and she at the time was a sweeper, and a utility makes more than a sweeper, but yet General Mills, and keep in mind, we're talking about the fraudulent part behind the scenes, and I was at the time was nowhere near aware of this here. I was fortunate and blessed to be able to come across this type of information when I pulled my files and things years later. I mean, concerning the issues that my rights supposed to have been upheld and so forth. But anyway, to come to find out that the settlement was totally based up off of this young lady's yearly wage, and her yearly wages was based up off of a sweeper's yearly wage, not a utility. A utility is a higher up, so that means higher up you get paid more. Well, she was moved up into my position after General Mills had racially discriminated against me and wrongfully retaliated and terminated me. Then they removed her and placed her up into my position. So anyway, and it had been proven through legal documents and things that my former attorney and General Mills had conversed and talked it, and how that my former attorney told me not only was I entitled to, say, damages, but he said I was entitled to a variety of damages. To only find out that certain amount of monies and things, which they known that this case was worth millions. But yet, General Mills and my former attorney have gotten together and used this young lady's yearly wage based up off of what she made as a sweeper in 2002 for her lump sum. And which was that lump sum there, we're talking about it was like $35,371.09. But yet, documents and legal documents have shown that there was a agreement of, well, not so much an agreement, but there was documents that was shown to show that my former attorney and General Mills had conversed over A, B, and C. A was involving with the $60,000 and an amount that was supposed to have been paid, or with interest, and back pay and so forth, and then after that, B was over $189,000 and not something dollars, and then C for punitive damages $2.5 million. So my former attorney and General Mills, they knew that this lawsuit here and this cause of action mine, from the severity of discrimination that they had put me through and depriving me of my rights to advance and so forth. Even my attorney himself even admitted that I was discriminated against in violations of laws and things around here, and rights and labor laws and so forth, and how that this particular company had deprived me of such. And they knew that had witnesses. They knew I had witnesses that was even willing to testify and to even go to trial, to a juror trial. Well, General Mills made sure that didn't happen. Yeah, they made sure that didn't happen. And so to get to my point, they based it, the lawsuit, dollar for dollar, nickel for nickel, dime for dime, penny for penny, off of this young lady's yearly wage, which was $35,371.09. And they got over $11,000 of it. They is referring to my former attorney in the Burnett and Jameson law firm. So after I found out that this is what they did, deceived and manipulate me, and I had to file suit against them, well, they split it up. And still, there's issues going on right now, and more, that I am still petitioning the United States Supreme Court right now here in 2014 concerning these issues, and a whole lot more. that others was involved that clearly states and show that there's deprivations of rights. And the young man here mentioned, you know, how that General Mills was falsifying records and things, that when he was terminated, you know, the young man that gave me his consent to record him on the 90-minute audio tape, that General Mills falsified records and things that he was talking about. And one of the things that stood out is when he's saying that when he was actually terminated, when General Mills actually terminated this man, which would be in September the 16th of 2013, well, General Mills' document stated up there, said that, well, it was more or less October the 1st of 2013, like a month prior, or not prior, but afterwards, you know. So that just shows that there's a lot of conspiracy and stuff that the company allow and do things around here, and involving conspiracy and falsifying records and stuff around here. And it just goes to show you that this is not something that just started. This is a practice that it's been going on. And if you hear his chilling testimony and see what he has to say and listen to it, well, we see that it clearly shows that this company here, General Mills, unfortunately to say, in the North Bottom, is a very racist company behind the scenes. You know, behind the scenes. And that's what makes it even worse, because it's behind the scene. You wouldn't think so, but people who are still down there that is working, a lot of them, like I said, that's got over 20 years or better or more, people ain't they're not about to say a whole bunch of stuff around up over here, because they're trying to retire and get up out of there. Yeah, they're trying to get up out of there. And back to what I'm saying concerning my issues, that I'm still in the continuous ongoing battle with this company down here, and my former attorney, and then he mentioned even about the union allowing things and deciding with the company and so forth. Well, you know, unfortunately I have to sue my union too, because they allowed certain and refusing to let my case go to arbitration. And you can also hear that evidence concerning what the union was telling me in my cause of action, that, hey, certain things, how the company was intimidating witnesses and stuff around up here, and people was afraid to testify because of being retaliated against, and this is something that must go to arbitration. Oh, well, it didn't. It didn't go to arbitration. So again, the union is no more, as the best I can put it, is company controlled. Meaning, as I stated earlier, the union will basically represent who the company wants them to represent, and not represent who they don't want to represent. And so, just like the young man was testifying that his case didn't go to arbitration, and they telling him he shouldn't be there and all this kind of stuff, whatever it is, well, they're basically the same thing here at mine. And you can hear the evidence, especially when I'm talking about regarding my case. You can go down here and look at part 9. Look at part 9 and listen to me talk, and then you'll hear the recording between me and my former union rep during the particular time around up over here, and hear what he had to say. You can actually hear it, how that peoples was more than willing to come forth, but they was afraid of being retaliated. And this is something that we definitely had to take to arbitration. So again, concerning a lot of the deprivations of rights and things, which I am still being deprived of my rights, and this stuff is all the way up even to the United States Supreme Court. And unfortunately, General Mills has been as big as they are. They even have influence, or are allowed to have influence, over certain lawyers and certain judges. And they got documents and evidence to even prove that. And unfortunately, even with the United States Supreme Court, despite the facts and evidence, General Mills and them all, they sent false documents again, alleging that I didn't file in a timely manner. And even one of the court judges down here, the district or the federal court judge, whichever, that withholding information. Stuff, I mean, that just blatant show conspiracy against civil and constitutional rights. And what's happening? Oh, well, nothing. It's just like, oh, well, I guess that's just, you know, the nature of the business. But it's still a deprivation of rights. And I'm still standing up for my rights and petitioning the United States Supreme Court for such here in 2014. So, when American peoples, you have time to look at this here, I'm prayerfully asking that you all look at this here and forward the information, and you know, and leave your comments, likes, dislikes, or whatever it is. And just know that, you know, a lot of the discrimination stuff is going on. I mean, it's not a lot of fabrication and stuff around up over. I mean, this is stuff that's, you know, real peoples that had real experiences concerning being discriminated against. And we talking about blacks, we talking about Hispanics, Puerto Ricans. I mean, they all gave the consent. And here in 2013, just recently, a young man's been terminated because he got into it with a non-employee, which was his relief girlfriend, and General Mills, and twisted it all around, saying that he's leaving threatening messages, you know, breaking the violations of the company rules and so forth. And the young man has clear evidence that this young lady, who is his relief girlfriend, had even texted him saying that she's going to send this relief down there to the company and mess him up, or basically get him fired. And well, they did. You know, so I mean, there's a whole lot of underhanded discrimination stuff, again, behind the scenes that is taking place. And this kind of stuff need to be known. So anyway, and my calls of action, as well as this goes to show that still there's truly a lot of the dark ages act and practices that are still going on at General Mills down here in the North Bottoms in Kansas City.